Miles decided to film a reality dating show right here in the family estate. Dominic and I accidentally became the foil to this celebrity power couple. At first, the internet trolled me, calling the current lady of the house a glorified background extra, an unloved wife tormented by her mother-in-law. Later, viewers flooded the show's tag. I'm obsessed with Dominic and Blair's dynamic. Petition for more screen time. Pausing the video just to catch their background moments. I'm starving for their crumbs. Drop the Dominic and Blair cut right now. Chapter 1. Miles and his new romance were trending every other day. The notorious playboy had finally settled down, and his target was none other than Sierra, the A-list actress. He wore Dominic down for an entire month until he finally caved and let the crew into the estate. Dominic told me the news a week before the cameras rolled. They only need a few episodes. If you want to avoid the cameras, we can move into the penthouse for a bit. I lounged against the headboard, dark hair spilling over my bare shoulders. Past. Too much effort. 3 years of marriage to Dominic. 3 years in this estate. I had my routine, and packing sounded exhausting. I padded downstairs, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. Dominic had laid down the law with the production team. No unauthorized filming of his wife. The first floor was already bustling. Sierra was surrounded by a group of people. She held court like she already owned the place. Catching me in her periphery, she clapped her hands at Ruth. Ruth, be a sweetheart and get Blair a plate. Ruth hesitated, her eyes darting to me for confirmation. I swallowed a yawn and gave a slight nod. Only then did Ruth signal the kitchen. Miles looked up from his breakfast. Morning, Blair. I blinked through the brain fog. Morning. Did Dominic head to the office? Miles asked. I guess. The man woke up before the sun. Even after a marathon session the night before, his internal alarm never glitched. But that was Dominic. The air. Bred for relentless self-control. He never slipped. Even our sex life ran on a tight, disciplined schedule. While I waited for my coffee, Sierra slid into the seat next to me. She hooked her arm through mine, beaming at the main camera. Blair is a little camera shy, guys. Give her some grace, okay? She angled her face toward me, flashing a picture-perfect smile. Don't stress, Blair. My fans are super supportive. And just like that, my bare face and bewildered expression went live. Sierra scrolled through the iPad displaying the live stream chat, her saccharine smile locked in place as she cherry-picked questions. You guys think she looks familiar? She just has one of those relatable, everyday faces. She giggled, tapping her lip. Asking for her age? Shoo, a lady never tells. She answered a few more, but the chat kept dragging the focus back to me. Sensing the shift, she unhooked her arm and leaned back, desperately steering the narrative back to her. The live chat exploded. Wait, that's Miles' sister-in-law? The CEO's wife? She doesn't look every day. She looks expensive. I swear I've seen her somewhere. Is she trying to use Sierra for clout? Sierra is literally an angel for sharing her screen time. Here for Sierra. She looks stunning today. Sierra won at life. Her man is loaded and obsessed with her. As for me, my mind was miles away. Exhaustion dragged at my bones. Dominic just got back from a week-long business trip. The ever-disciplined man utterly lost his mind last night, demanding every ounce of what he had missed over the past 7 days. My body was utterly wrecked. Chapter 2. Miles disappeared into the study to handle some business. That left me trapped on the sofa, dragged into a bridal catalog browsing session by an overly enthusiastic Sierra. She and Miles had just locked down their engagement, gearing up to tie the knot soon. Blair, isn't this one stunning? I glanced at her, then down at the glossy lookbook in her lap. Stunning. What about this one? Another lazy glance. Also stunning. Blair, I heard a crazy rumor that you and Dominic never even had a ceremony. Sierra flipped a page, her tone dripping with manufactured innocence. I took a bite of my apple. The crisp crunch echoed before I bothered to answer. Nope. Sierra covered her mouth in surprise. Wait, Dominic really didn't give you a special day? I shook my head. I didn't want one. My marriage to Dominic was strictly a marriage of convenience. We had no emotional foundation. Right before we signed the papers, he asked me, when do you want to do the ceremony? Church or beach? I harbored zero expectations for this union. We knew of each other, but we had never actually crossed paths before the arrangement. Two total strangers. The thought of swapping rings and kissing a guy I barely knew in front of an officiant just felt pointless. I shot it down instantly. Let's skip it. There's no point. I could still remember his piercing gaze pinning me down at that exact moment. He let the silence stretch before giving a curt nod. Whenever anyone asked, he took the bullet, claiming he was the one who wanted to skip the circus. He shielded me from the fallout. Sierra conveniently ignored my explanation. Every girl deserves that magical moment to feel chosen. She looked at me with a hint of pity. It breaks my heart Dominic would just deny you that experience. I chewed my apple. Defending myself required energy I refused to spend. Miles is practically forcing this massive fairy tale wedding on me. I kept telling him not to burn so much cash, but he absolutely refused. Sierra's tone was coy, pretending to be annoyed but actually just acting spoiled. He told me he'd never let me regret marrying him, but every single gown in here is gorgeous. It's so overwhelming. The live chat devoured her saccharine performance. Miles literally treats Sierra like royalty. Here for this pure energy. They are so obsessed with each other. The contrast is brutal. Look at Blair sulking. Of course she's bitter. She's stuck in a loveless PR stunt. Bet Dominic was the one who refused to drop a dime on a wedding. Blair, my brain is turning to mush. Pick one for me? Sierra slid the heavy book over to me. I flipped through a handful of pages and tapped a random silk number. This one worked. Sierra barely glanced at it. The waistline lacked structure. She took the book back and closed it. Never mind. I'll just wait for Miles to help me pick. He never settles for basic. She seamlessly pivoted to her next target. Blair, did Dominic not even bother to buy you a wedding ring? Sierra's gaze dropped to my left hand. A plain metal band sat on my ring finger. It bore a strange, jagged crest, the kind of cheap trinket you'd dig out of a thrift store bargain bin. He did. I stared down at the band. On the day we signed the papers, I found 2 rings waiting on my nightstand. One of them featured a blinding, suffocatingly massive diamond. Chapter 3. The second option was this dull metal band. Dominic told me to choose. I thought it looked hideous, but the massive diamond was just too impractical to wear. I grabbed the plain one. That's it? Did Dominic find that in a Dollar Tree clearance bin? Just kidding, Blair, don't take it personally. Sierra flashed a playful pout at the lens. She extended her hand, flashing a rock the size of a golf ball. Miles's engagement ring. I literally begged Miles not to drop this kind of cash. It's so heavy, but he's obsessed. He wouldn't take no for an answer. Now he's forcing me to pick a wedding band even bigger than this. She pushed the catalog toward me. Blair, help me out. Sure. I flipped the heavy pages. Miles emerged from the study. He slung an arm over Sierra's shoulder, pressing a kiss to her temple. How's the ring hunt going, babe? Sierra leaned into him. Blair's helping me. She traced a finger over Miles's collarbone. Honestly, I feel awful that Dominic never got her a real ring. Why don't we buy her one? You know, as a makeup gift. She waited for him to validate her performative pity. Instead, Miles's gaze flicked to my left hand. He scoffed. Sierra, you have no idea what she's wearing. That dull metal band is the family signet, the absolute authority of the matriarch. He tapped the catalog. As long as that ring is on her finger, she speaks for Dominic. She basically owns Manhattan. Sierra's smile faded. She froze for a second. The way she looked at the ring shifted, filled with intense scrutiny and a trace of greedy longing. I blinked. That hideous thing held that much power? Dominic never mentioned a word. I literally just picked it because it didn't snag on my clothes. The live stream chat completely derailed. Wait, I knew that wasn't a cheap knockoff. That's the family crest. And y'all said Dominic didn't claim her. He gave her the keys to the entire empire. Don't be sad, Sierra. You'll get yours when you marry in. She literally won't. There's only one matriarch. Unless Dominic drops dead, Miles gets nothing. Why does Blair get it? Sierra deserves it just as much. Because Blair is the heir's wife? Cry about it. Jealousy bubbled up inside Sierra. She couldn't tear her eyes away from my hand. Sierra, you good? Miles frowned. She forced a tight laugh, practically dragging him to the opposite end of the sectional. I caught Dominic in his study late that night. The workaholic had his laptop angled toward him, the screen glowing in the dim room. He was watching the unedited live stream footage from this morning. Come here. I crossed the room. Before I could process his movement, his large hands gripped my waist, hauling me straight onto his lap.